Today on eNCA GSTV Channel 43, we're staying in our courts this hour. Magistrate Vivian Cronje testifying earlier today in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial that one of the accused, Bongani Ntanzi, confirmed that he was neither physically attacked or threatened by police when he gave his confession. Now, during her testimony, Cronje made this admission. It is a trial within a trial, the court trying to determine whether confessions made by two of the accused should be admitted as evidence. Manqoba Mchunu was in court. He's back now just to give us an update about exactly what happened. Good afternoon, Manqoba. Just take us through what were the main highlights of today's proceedings.
Well, essentially, pretend the court hearing today from Magistrate Vivian Cronje that accused two, Bongani Ntanzi, had in fact been relaxed and calm and confident at the time that he had made a confession to her back in June of 2020. This was just days after Bongani Ntanzi had been arrested in relation to the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. And she told the court that, in fact, when he came to make that confession, he had been in the company of his own lawyer who was there present when the confession was made. She says that he also had been told of his rights just before making that confession, the right to remain silent, and also the right not to be compelled to give any incriminating evidence. And this is all part of Section 35 of the Constitution, which of course will also be weighed heavily or will be used heavily as this trial within a trial continues to look at the legality and the lawfulness of this particular confession. And of course, what Cronje is saying is that all the proper procedures were followed in terms of the law. He had been told of his rights, and he had then indicated that he wanted to continue giving his confession and that he was doing this freely and voluntarily. Even after that confession had been made, she says that he had been read back that particular confession in his language, and he had then confirmed the contents of that particular confession or statement that was given then. But let's take a listen to what she had to say as far as this is concerned.
Was asked, did the police or any other person assault or threaten you to make this statement? Answer, no, not at all.
Umbuzo landelayo ke ngama amaphoyisa noma nje noma uyimuphi umuntu ke owakushaya noma owakusabisa ke ukuthi wenze le statement cha naka lutho nje.
Did anyone influence you to make this statement? Answer, no, I decided on my own.
Ingabe ukhona yini umuntu owaba nomthelela ukuthi wena uzokwenza lesi statement lesi cha isinqumo engayithathela mina.
Did anyone encourage you to make the statement? Answer, no.
Khona yini owakugqugquzela ukuthi wenze le statement cha.
Were any promises made to you to persuade you to make the statement? Answer, no.
Ngaba ikhona yini ithembiso ezenziwa kuwena ukuthi ke noma ke ukugqugquzela ukuthi ke wenze statement lesi? Impendulo yathi cha.
Do you expect to derive any benefits from making the statement? Answer, no, not at all.
Yeah, so the Vivian Cronje there, Manqoba, just stating from her perspective, this confession was given freely and voluntarily with no coercion.
Certainly, Pretend, and importantly, of course, to note is whether or not there was any assault that was used on Bongani Ntanzi when making the statement. Of course, this is also very important to determine whether these confessions or alleged confessions can then be used as evidence in this particular matter. And what he says is that he was not assaulted. In fact, what Cronje also asked is that was there any pressure, were there any threats that were made for you to be able to make the statement, which he says there was none. In fact, the only, scars that he seems to have pointed to are scars that he had, been injured when working at the mine where he was working, and also as a child growing up. Those are the only scars that he had mentioned at the time. But this defense, of course, are arguing, pretend that they were assaulted and that there was, torture that was applied to these accused to make these particular statements. They say they were made under duress. And this is what they say they're going to argue when this matter is then concluded. Take a listen.
That it has been obtained under duress.
Obtained under duress.
Correct. That the deponent did not sign the statement.
The deponent did not sign the statement before Mrs. Cronje.
Correct.
The deponent did not sign the statement before Mrs. Cronje. Heard?
And lastly, my Lord, the statement was not made as alleged freely and voluntarily by the deponent.